I gotta tell you, when the 100 Years quest started, I never would have guessed we'd end up in yet another alternate world opposite to Daedalus, where instead of magic power just draining away to nothing, we have magical power that is increasing to such a degree that the world is ready to tear itself apart, where we're battling a alternate version of face called Alt Face, where instead of a myriad of faces rising across the land to wipe away all magical power, is creating a myriad of hands which will increase magical power to such a degree everything will be destroyed. It is only a sentence you could have affiliated with fairy tale, let's be real. This is chapter 88 called Alta Face, where the various members of the Whiteout village are doing their best to take down the various different Sumeka, while the elders as well as Toka are talking about the history of Alta Face and how its existence has always kind of been there for the most part, as well as the hands have been around for a good long time, but it tended to be a lot more benign. It wasn't as troublesome as we're seeing right now, hence why when the fairy tale group got to Elentir, you saw a whole bunch of hands. Well, just the one big hand at first, but it didn't really do much of anything. And did I say Toka? I keep getting them confused because Ferris took on her appearance and name. It's Ferris who's having this recounted to her. Although it would make more sense for Toka to be there, to at least have them not just explaining it amongst themselves, people who should already know all of this information. Although with the way that the head white priestess talks about Alta Face, it kind of makes it sound like it is the sole reasoning behind why there's such an overabundance of magical power within Alternia. So my question is, with Fairy Tail facing this thing down, what's going to happen to this world once that's gone? Will they start to lose magical power as well, much like Adolas? Or is it simply just going to be that there's a lot of magical power here still? And whereas with last chapter, when you first saw Alta Face, at least when I first saw Alta Face, it freaked me out. Like, it was just this really ominous looking thing. And that's not to say it's not a bit of an obstacle for the Fairy Tail Guild to overcome after facing down with the minions of Selene as well as Suzaku. They're pretty worse for wear, but I mean, when has that ever stopped them before? We've seen Urza have pretty much every bone in her body shattered, and she still manages to destroy an entire meteor, so this is really nothing. So Alta Face starts kind of waxing poetically. It's just like, this ugly world, I can't be stopped, I will destroy this world, and everybody's unleashing their ultimate moves. Natsu and his Fire Dragon King's Destruction Fist, because that's not a mouthful. Gray and his Ice Devil Zeroth Longsword, with Gray trying to outdo Natsu in terms of long attack names. But Wendy's got her classic Sky Dragon's Roar, Lucy's got the Aquametria, and Urza with her I put all of my stats into attack rather than defense, using her Benizakura Flash, if that's how you pronounce it, and it does jack diddly squat. Alta Face then unleashes these clusters of magical power with a lot of ether nano all up in this biz, and it just unloads everyone. Like, whereas they end up feeling like there's been sucked out of magical power, Irene, the not-so-friendly ghost in Wendy's head, Wendy's imaginary friend basically, shows up and it's just like, yeah, you guys have been basically overclocked. It's not so much that you've been drained, you just have so much power in you that your bodies are just like, what the fuck? And don't think there's any power. I feel like the explanation that, like, you have a display that goes only to 99 and it's gone above that to make it look like it's reached 0. I'm just like, that's not how that would work. You'd still have the power. It's just that the power can't be read anymore. Now, I guess it would mostly be like you've been overloaded to the point where things have just shut down operation. It's a power surge. Overloaded. Your bodies couldn't contain that much power. But Irene is just like, that's some bullshit. We've seen you guys exceed your limits time and time and time again, constantly going beyond what you thought you were capable of, and we get these flashbacks to, honestly, a nice little bit of a collage of the various different moments for Wendy, to her first appearance and the showdown with the Oratian Says, and the various different battles she's had along the way, from Adolas to the showdown with Tartarus, the Oratian Says. I already said Oratian Says. I'm thinking of Alvarez. And even taking on that one sticky dragon slayer who went a little too far in terms of its dragon force power. It's just like, just use that power. Your limit isn't quite there. And the most surreal thing actually happens in that Wendy uses this power and her body ages itself up to what her peak will actually be. And it's really unfortunate for Wendy, who's so self-conscious about her buzz, but it's just like, you don't go beyond an B cup, maybe? B cup maximum. But older Wendy has some thick thighs, so it's a bit of a trade-off, if nothing else. And she fills everyone else in on, it's just go beyond your limits. Just trust your bodies to know what you need to do with all this power. And just like that, just being told that, they immediately start to just feel the power within them. And like in a Power Rangers-esque flash, they just boost up and just go flying at Alta Face and just utterly vaporize it right there and then. Now, the question remains, like, is this the end of Alta Face? Was it really that simple? Or is Alta Face actually going to be revealed to be something else that the Fairy Tail crew will have to overcome? And while this has been a bit of an interesting diversion with everything going on, we still have Celine to deal with. Like, that's the main course here, as the Dragon Eaters Guild would say. Like, until Celine is dealt with, this is still going to be a problem. And while Alderaan was a bit of a problem, all things considered, it was honestly the White Witch who was the bigger issue when it came to Alderaan. But Celine has been a major obstacle right up until Diablos butted in yet again for like the umpteenth time. But, I mean, it's still the question, like, did Suzaku manage to kill Celine? That would be kind of anticlimactic, but considering how much of a terrible person she's kind of been, especially compared to a lot of the other dragons, again, Alderaan was not the best, but he didn't come off as malicious, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure he consumed various different humans in order to make his nourishment. I'm pretty sure that's how that was working out. But while Suzaku did prove to be a fairly formidable foe, I love that alliteration, if he took out Celine, I don't know, that's gonna feel kind of anticlimactic to me a little bit. I mean, the situation with Mercuphobia went down pretty well, with Natsu being overtaxed by the flames of Ignia, and then the whole showdown with Alderaan and gigantic Gajeel, and Natsu taking on the seeds of the main seed of Alderaan and all that. That was some pretty cool stuff. It was some pretty fun battles. To not have Natsu and the rest of them be the ones to take down Celine, I don't know, that feels a little bit weird to me. Like, that doesn't feel like Fairy Tail to me. It'd be an interesting swerve, but I don't know. And I'm also wondering about the whole thing with Irene. Is she gonna get a new body at some point? Is she going to be resurrected? Is she going to get to live a normal life or something like that? That would actually be kind of fascinating, all things considered. But then again, they kind of kept the thing that happened with Ultir, and that's still been a thing. She does tend to pop up from time to time whenever time gets involved, but even still, I'm kind of digging this relationship she's had with Wendy. It's a good sense of advice here and there. Honestly, Wendy is the one character who, aside from Lucy, receives the most outside help in some of her battles. But that's enough rambling. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think about any of the theories I threw out there? Are you gelling with some of them? And what about some of the questions that I've had about Ultir in conjunction with Irene? That the situation with Irene will probably stick maybe? Or will she actually find a body? Is Celine dead? Did Suzaka do her in? But are we actually gonna get that showdown? Are we gonna swerve with it? Is Face destroyed? Are we gonna get like Core Face, where it's an actual person-like form that the group will have to face down? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.